This is the instructional video for Qualtrics. This is the main website that I taught you guys to go to in order to access Qualtrics. So you would go to this site and then just click here on the Qualtrics logo and it will take you here. Then you will use your email address and password that you created in class to log in. You'll need to make sure that you're able to do this and log in before you're able to proceed. You need to be able to get into Qualtrics and you need to have an account already set up. Okay, I'm now going to be following along with this sheet here, which is available as a PDF on the class website. It says Qualtrics Lab. So it's a PDF. That's what I'm going to be following along with exactly. So make sure you have that with you. First step is to log into Qualtrics by clicking on the big Qualtrics logo and just logging in with the account information that you have already created. All right, first thing we're going to do is the Create Survey tab right here. Then we're going to click on Quick Survey Builder. The survey name is going to be First Practice. And don't worry about the folder, we just go ahead and hit Create Survey. Sometimes Qualtrics can take a little while. All right, we're going to start by doing a couple of multiple choice questions. First thing we do is create a new item. We just hit the green box. Then we click right here where it says click to write the question text. We click right just in that area. And the first item we're going to measure is I am satisfied with the University of Kentucky. Okay, now if we look over here on the right, we see that we have a bunch of different types of questions we can ask. We're going to be leaving this one as a multiple choice question. Okay, and for our responses, we want it to be an interval scale. So Qualtrics actually provides for us a bunch of preset interval scale options. We can look right here at automatic choices and look at all these options. So for the first one, we have disagree to agree, and if you look over at the actual item that you've typed, you'll see that it plugs in strongly disagree to strongly agree. We can do very dissatisfied to satisfied, very inappropriate to appropriate, gender, true false, yes no, below average to above average, unlikely to very likely. So it has all of these already available to us. For this one, we are going to do the disagree, agree, which is the first one. But rather than just 5 points here, we want 7. So we just increase our choices from 5 over here on the right side to 7. And you'll see that it automatically plugs in those responses. Now, rather than having them vertically listed, I would like you to position them horizontally. So skip down a little bit to this area, and we're going to hit horizontal. We're going to keep the position above rather than to the side. It's just where your text is located in relation to the radio button. I'd like you to have them above. Okay, now if we look, I'm going to keep this scrolled up right here where it says forced response. That means that if we check this box, the respondent will not be able to move forward with the survey until they provide an answer, meaning that you will not have missing data because in order to move on, they have to give an answer. If I check the box, this red star appears. So watch again, when I uncheck it, it goes away. When I check it, it appears. So the red star means that it's a forced response, and this means that the respondent has to answer before they can move forward with the survey. Okay, now I'm done with that question, and I just want to make a new item. So I hit the green plus. Here we go. Click on the item text to change the text. This time, my question is going to be, please indicate your involvement with Greek life. Still going to be multiple choice. Let's look at my automatic choices. Do any of these seem like they would work well for involvement? Like very involved to very uninvolved? Anything like that? I do not see involvement as one of my responses. Nothing that would really work for involvement, so I'm going to need to type it myself. In order to have some easy ones to plug in, let's go to not at all to frequently. There we go. So now I just have something I can work with. But I'm going to do 7 options. I'm going to click up to 7. And now I can manually go in and change these. So instead of not at all, let's change it to something that is better, more reflective of involvement. And I'm going to use the scale points above, the scale descriptors above, as my cues. So I could say very uninvolved. My next one would be just uninvolved. And then somewhat uninvolved. Neither involved nor uninvolved. Now I'm getting towards the positive. Somewhat involved. Involved. Very involved. So now you can see I've got very uninvolved to very involved, and that is reflective of my question here. Please indicate your involvement with Greek life. Okay, now I am going to, for some reason, we've decided that we don't want 7 anymore, we just want 6. If that happens and you change your mind, you can just click on it and remove a choice. And now I'm back to 6 points. So that's kind of nice. You can just change them if you need to. All right, I'm going to keep my label positioning where it is. Okay, let's move this up. I'm going to keep it vertical this time, but this time I'm also going to force a response, which is what it asked for. Keep label positioning and force a response. Okay, new question. This time we are saying, please indicate your gender. Now, the Qualtrics program is pretty smart. When it sees the word gender, it automatically plugs in male and female. If you wanted something different there, you would just type on it and click on it and manually change it. But it's pretty smart. It knows gender. So you are all good to go there. They automatically filter in. Let's do a new question. This time I'm changing the text to, please indicate which type of phone you have. Whoops. All right, I want there to be 3 options here. First one, I need to put in myself. It is iPhone. Second one would be other, which is anything other than an iPhone. But now remember, we need a category for everybody, and some people may not have a phone. So theirs would say, I don't have a phone. If I were to hit enter now, another choice would appear. So you can just keep on going. I only need those 3, so when I click on this, I would remove it because I only need those 3. Okay, now I'm going to force a response on this question. So the red star appears. But now I've decided that I want this question to be the first question that they see, that this is the first item that they see. Here all the way on the left, you'll see these 2 arrows up and down. If I click up, I can move it all the way to the very top. And you'll see once you click, just click one time and it'll jump up. And then I can move it back down. But we want to move it all the way to the top. Okay, now let's do a new question. We're going to go back down to the bottom. New question. This time we're going to do a ratio question where they just provide a number for us. So rather than having multiple choice, they're going to type in an answer. So we're going to change from a multiple choice here on the right side to text entry, which allows them to just type in an answer. Our question is going to say, please indicate how many miles you live from the Johnson Center. Okay. Now on the right side here, our options have changed. We're no longer doing multiple choice, we're doing text entry. So these things are a little different. I can change it from a single line to a multi-line. And if you watch right here, the area where the person types in their answer changes in size based on single line or multi-line. We've talked about in class how the more space there is, the longer the response you'll receive. this is just a short question. How many miles? That's just a number. So we can make it a multi-line answer, but then we're actually going to decide to do single line because it's just a number. In fact, we can even make this shorter so that it's very clear. We just want you to type in a little number there. Mine looks goofy for a second, so you can play around with it, and I'll leave it there. And for this one, we are also going to force a response. So the validation, we're going to force a response. Now we're going to do a new item. This time, it's going to be an ordinal. We're going to have them rank order. We go back up to our item types, rank order. The question this time is, please rank the following TV shows from most important, and then it's nice to tell them what that means, a 1, to least, most favorite. Most favorite is a 1, to least favorite, which is a 4. And you need to tell them what they have to do by dragging the bars to the desired position. Okay, now I just go in and manually type in. The first one could be Gold Rush. The second one, Deadliest Catch. The third one, American Pickers. And I need a fourth one. I can hit enter. And remember, another choice option will appear. Holmes on Holmes. I think the second one is just the word Holmes. I think I spelled that wrong on your sheet. Okay, so now we have all of our questions in. This, you can see here, is a 6-question survey. All right, now let's go up to the top, very top, and in this row here, you'll see a magnifying glass that says Preview Survey. Click on that, and a new tab opens, and you'll be able to see your survey. Because we forced responses, if we want to play around with our survey, it's going to require us to follow that validation, that forced response. So let's hit Ignore Validation just for now so that we can play around with it. Okay, so now we can look at each of our questions. You can see you can actually take the survey. Please indicate whichever phone you have. I have an other. I'm satisfied. Of course I'm satisfied. I am not involved with Greek life at all at this point in my life. I am a female. I live, I'm not really sure. I'll say 10. I have no idea how many miles I live. And then you can see that you slide the bars into the different positions. So we had to tell them that this is how you do it. Okay, now that we've checked it out, we think everything's okay, we want to go back to the survey and actually make it so that it's multiple pages rather than just all the questions on one page. Up here at the top, you just go back to this original tab. That's how you get back to the survey. And if we go all the way down, on this right-hand side, you'll see Add Page Break right here. It's the first option underneath all of your question options, Add Page Break. And it puts in this dotted line here. When you put your cursor in that box, you'll see on the left side, you still have the up and down arrows. So let's move it up right after the first question. So right after the question about the phone, we have in a page break. So this will mean that when they take the survey, let's go preview it again just for fun. Now this question is on its own, and when they hit, I'm going to ignore validation. When they hit next, now they get the rest of the questions. So you can divide your survey into as many pages as you would like. Now I'm back to the original survey. I'm just going to change some of the font and some of the little things, what we call look and feel. So again, in this top row here, look and feel. The first one, it has a rainbow. I would like to add a progress bar so that they can see how far along in the survey they are. And I'm going to do one without text. It won't say anything. It'll just, it'll look like this, and it'll tell them how far along in the survey they are. If you do one with text, it's got the percentages on the ends. Let's do without text for now. Okay, if I go back up to the top here on fonts, I can change the font. Let's change it to Tahoma. Okay. Now I can change the overall look in this box. There's a lot of different options here. Here's just different UK formats that you can use. You could also go to Qualtrics, and they have a whole bunch of different things. We're going to keep it University of Kentucky. It just looks a little more legit there. It lends credibility to your survey. And then when you're all done with changing those kinds of things, you can change the colors. You can change all kinds of fun stuff. Go back to this bottom right-hand corner and hit Save. And again, in this top row, I'm going to hit Survey Options. This very first one here, the back button. This allows respondents to move back and forth in the survey rather than going straight forward. You can check it, which means they are allowed to go back. However, that's not always a good thing. Sometimes we don't want them to go back and change their mind. So it's something that you and your group will need to discuss, whether or not you want people to be able to go back and change their mind, or whether they need to just go with their gut instinct and their first response. For now, we're going to uncheck it, but based on you and your group and what your hypotheses are and what your model is, you can decide whether or not to allow people to go back and change their answers. Same with Save and Continue. Are you going to allow people to take the survey, get halfway through, and then come back and finish it later, or do they need to take it all at once? Typically, with a short survey like you're going to have, which is probably about 10 questions or less, they won't need to come back. And chances are, if they know that that's an option, then they won't fill it out all the way to begin with. So we're going to uncheck that. We do not want people to be able to save and continue. Make sure it's in English right here. And then we hit Save Changes. Now we want to send it out for pre-testing. Again, in this top row, we hit Launch Survey. We're going to come down here to this link, Activate Your Survey. Click on that, and it will give you a link. And this link, you can copy and paste and email it to anybody that you want. So you'll need to email your actual project survey to one of your roommates. Just send this link right here and have them go through the survey and fix it. Now let you know if there's any problems. Now let's say you send it and one of them, like me, doesn't really know how many miles they live from the Johnson Center. And so we decide that now it will be easier to measure that in terms of how many minutes do you live from the Johnson Center. All we would need to do is go back to Edit Survey. Here's our questions. We can go down and just click right in there. Instead of miles, we change it to minutes. But because we've changed it, that link that we were sending out is to the old survey. This is new. We've changed it. So we would need to go back up to Launch Survey, and we would need to get a new link. And that would be our new link to send out to our new revised survey. So that is your practice for Qualtrics, and the sheet, again, is available on the class website, and I will see you in class.